get ready to go for a hike.
This is our review of Trails. Trails is a set collection contract style game.
Where your goal is to gain resources in order to earn badges and take photos. Trails has a modular game board, but the trail head and the trail end are always in the same position.
Depending on the number of players, each player will start with their hiker either on the trail head or the trail end.
On their turn, players will move their hiker along the board, collecting leaves, acorn, and rock resource cubes.
The resource cubes can be used to take photos or pay for badges.
The photos and badges will give the player who earned them points at the end of the game.
There is also a way to earn more points by seeing the most birds on either your photos or your badges.
Every time a player earns a badge at the trail end, the sun moves forward along the game board.
When the sun reaches the trail head, it is completely set and the game ends.
The player with the most points on their photos, badges, and from the birds wins. We're big fans of Keymaster Games, especially the Park series. So when we heard that Trails was coming out using similar artwork from the 59 Parks series of art, we were really excited. And when we got the box and we did our unboxing, you could tell we really liked the artwork of this game. We like the meeples, we like the artwork on the cards, and we especially like the artwork that's on all the modular pieces of the game board.
It definitely had a Parks feel to it. You had your different resources, although these are just cubes rather than the actual shapes of like a sun, water, leaf, or whatnot. The board was similar in that you take your hikers and you move it to the end. However, in this one, you move it back and forth rather than just going to the end like in Parks.
When we were first playing this game, I liked a lot about it. The game board is modular, so you can change it every game that you play. Not only that, unlike Parks, this one flips over. So as the sun is setting, the board flips over and you get different resources depending on if it's night or day. And I like that you were taking your hiker and going in both directions. So once you got to the trail end, you can turn around and head back to the trail head. It is kind of funny to, as you're playing, how the mechanics can change. Because if I'm going this way and I put the bear somewhere, it may be in front of me, but it may also be in front of the person going the opposite direction. So I may or may not get the added bonus of rolling for the wildlife bear.
The wildlife bear definitely is a mechanic that I really enjoyed in this one because like Kenny said, you land on it, you get an action, you can kind of set yourself up on your next turn too. However, there's that added okay, the person in front of you or behind you could get to that first, and then all that setting up you tried to do didn't really help you at all. But it really added more variety to the game and made you want to move to one spot that maybe you didn't want to move to before just to get the bear.
And when you land where the wildlife bear is, you roll the dice. And normally I'm not a big fan of dice games. However, this isn't really important to your strategy. This is just kind of a bonus and you're rolling to see what bonus you get. I like the chain reactions that you can get with some of the badges. You may be able to get resources from certain cards. So if you buy the card first, you'll get the resources and then you can buy the next card and then you get resources and then you can buy the card in your hand. So I do like that there is a chain building reaction that you can kind of set up if you play it correctly and get the right resources as you're going.
So on the box, it says it's 20 to 40 minutes. And I remember when we were about to play, we were kind of making some plans and I was like, Kenny, I remember it's like 20 minutes, right? And he's like, no, it's not going to be 20 minutes, no way. So we had to schedule it a different time because we were running a little short on time.
Yeah, overall, I would say 60 minutes is closer to what it will be. The first time you play, it's probably 90 minutes, but for a 4-player game, it's about 60 minutes. So I would have put on that box probably 30 to 60 minutes. It's probably less for a 2-player game.
So when I first saw it, I thought, oh, it's almost like a travel game of Parks, so you can just play real quick, because Parks can probably take an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours for 4 people, and that this should be a lot less. However, it was less, it just wasn't a lot less. So it was almost like they condensed it so much, but still kept the length of it.
Juliana told me not to compare it to Parks too much. However, I do want to make a big comparison because a lot of people watching this review and interested in Trails will have their, I like Parks, I like the Nightfall expansion, let's see what Trails is. Trails, if I could sum it up, is a stripped down version of Parks where you take the fun theming of Parks with the national parks and just make it as mechanical as possible. So even the fun resource pieces that you have in Parks are just squares in this game. You don't get into that feeling of, oh, I'm going to Yosemite, or oh, I'm going to Yellowstone and I collected the trees and the mountains and the suns and all these kind of things. Like, you don't have that, when I was saying, that sense of wonder and that sense of funness to it.
So overall for Trails, the artwork is still great. You know, the nostalgia of it from Parks, I really enjoyed, so I went in with a very positive mindset. I'm kind of with Kenny as far as how it gets very slimmed down, or it's very lean now because of that, but yeah, I still enjoyed it. I'll probably give it a 7.
Overall, I'm going to give the game a 7 as well. It's definitely not as fun as Parks, but if you don't want to compare it just to Parks, just by itself, it's still a fun game. So if you've never played any other Keymaster game before, you will enjoy this game probably. But it's just, if you've played the other ones, it is not as fun when you go in with those high expectations like I went into it.
And Teresa gives it a 10.
And Juliana gives it a 7.75. And that was our review of Trails.
What'd you think? Ready to put on your hiking boots and go hit those trails? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you're enjoying our content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny.